A historic event, one that only happens every 4 years.
Bitcoin was fraud. The court has ordered Telegram to halt all the work.
That's a massive turnaround.
People want pajamas.
Wow, okay.
This week saw the easing of lockdown restrictions. But what has that meant for stock markets, and have we seen any changes? We also celebrated the halving of the Bitcoin, which only happens every 4 years. But what did this mean for Bitcoin prices? Our expert, Ainars Velicevskis, has all of the answers. I spoke to him this morning to find out more.
Good morning, Ainars. Lovely to see you again. I hope you're well.
Thank you, Simona. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you. So, Ainars, this week we have had a historic event, one that only happens every 4 years, and that is the halving of the Bitcoin. And I think that many people didn't see what they expected to in the market with this halving. Can you please give us a few of your insights?
So the price jumped 30% just over 1 month. It spiked even higher, but we saw a correction on Sunday that brought Bitcoin back a little bit. One of the reasons why the price hasn't reached those heights as planned by some analysts is that by halving, many miners will be holding on the coins for longer periods of time. So what we will see is shortened liquidity in the market with a smaller number of sellers. Therefore, we will see a growth further. This is just one of the news that has happened with the Bitcoin. The other thing is actually a historic moment. JP Morgan, which in 2018 or 17 was saying that Bitcoin was a fraud, well, no longer thinks as such. What they did is they agreed to open accounts for two big Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges, Coinbase and Gemini. Also, what happened through the week was that the court ordered Telegram to stop work on its blockchain. They had previously sold 1.7 bill in their token Gram, but as they did it without the registration with the Securities and Exchange Commission, therefore the court has ordered Telegram to halt all the work. Now, Telegram says that they have stopped the work for the unseen time in the future.
Okay, but it looks like crypto and Bitcoin are here to stay, because I know the executives here at EXANTE believe that the price will revert back to its original highs and might even go even higher.
Of course, that will happen, because what we see currently is the supply of Bitcoin has been stopped by the halving of the hash rate. We will see it in much less numbers on the market, and as the consumption, the demand on the coin increases. Just previously, what I mentioned, that even investment bankers believe in them, this will drive the price up over some time.
That's a massive turnaround for JP Morgan, though. So obviously there is, like you say, there's going to be a demand there. And what about commodities? Because there's always been this kind of crypto against gold battle. You know, which one is the safer haven, maybe, or the better investment? How is gold doing?
Well, actually, regarding gold, there are a couple of interesting things that happened through the week. What we saw was Trump that's upping the pressure on Federal Reserve to cut interest rates below zero. What it does, it will eradicate the historic yield advantages for the short-dated U.S. Treasury bonds. So therefore, gold becomes more interesting investment vehicle for the investors.
Okay, that's interesting. But so you obviously mentioned bonds. That's kind of another area that I think investors are probably looking to because of the safe haven aspect. Are there any good bonds to be investing in at the moment? What are we seeing in the bond market?
Well, the bond market currently is expanding. What we saw was that there are exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that saw an increase of the funds invested by 2.4 billion over the past week. Funds targeting American stocks had about 10 billion outflows till the period of until May 6th. And also Fed said that they will be buying exchange traded funds that track the corporate market. So this will happen for the first time in U.S. History when central banks does such a thing. Therefore, we are pretty much open to looking at bonds, and there are pretty interesting things also on the market. But additionally, what I wanted to mention is the bond situation for the airlines. The credit default swaps for Southwestern and Delta are trading with the spread of 4.7 and 12 respectively. So that means that bondholders want to swap the risk of the default and pay a premium of 4.7 and $12 respectively for each $100 in bonds they want to protect. For example, just to compare, Apple, it costs just 30 cents per 100. Let me say additional numbers. American Airlines default swaps are 54%, United Airlines 24%, and in the best situation is Jetblue Airways. What's also interesting thing, investors appear to be most nervous about the Americans' ability to report and repay. Airline stock has suffered a sell-off Tuesday after Boeing's chief executive gave a bad look on the industry and said that a major bankruptcy is likely to happen in the next several months. So this means we're looking at American Airlines to be the unlucky one.
Wow. Okay. So that's a big name as well. So I guess when it comes to the bond market, it seems like you said it's historic that the Fed is looking to invest in fixed income as opposed to the equity market, and maybe the investments are changing. Investors are looking for safe haven assets, but something like American Airlines doesn't sound like it's a safe bet at the moment if it's going down.
Of course, but then there are much better things in where to invest, and that they are actually soaring. For example, PayPal, which gives e-commerce payment solutions, they just raised 4 billion in debt, and their stock has soared 33% year to date. Also, quite an interesting thing is what's happening with JP Morgan. They are raising for a real estate credit fund. Currently, they're planning to do about 3 billion raise with up to 10 billion. That will be invested in bonds and pools of loans tied to commercial real estate, and with the target yield of 10 to 15% in net returns.
Wow, that is a pretty good yield, especially if you're a longer term investor. Because with what's going on in the stock market at the moment, obviously it's difficult to make that kind of money with the volatility. I mean, unless you know exactly what you're doing. What about any other trends? I mean, obviously we've mentioned coronavirus a lot, and that's because it is a hot topic. Are you seeing any other trends in the market? Any other companies that are maybe benefiting from the fact that people are working from home, the fact that we're needing to keep fit?
Actually, there are quite some, but let me just return to last week's episode where I mentioned Novavax. Okay. There's actually quite an interesting thing happened just over the week. What happened is they got a boost in funding up to 400 million to make the vaccine, and this sent their stocks soaring on Tuesday. At the market close, they reached 50-month high. Their shares had catapulted 62.5%. This is something tremendous. Also, there will be a couple of interesting investment possibilities further. And now getting back to your previous question regarding many to the change in people's habits. One of the changes, all of the gyms are closed. Nobody can work out anywhere. But then there is company Peloton, and they just hit the subscriber milestone of 1 million connected fitness subscribers. They sell home exercise bikes and treadmills. They have digital classes, and thus far they had netted 114,000 new clients. And their stock has soared 63% just this year, and they still have room for growth.
That is crazy. I definitely know a few people that are buying the Peloton exercise bikes, but they're pretty expensive. But what about the people like myself who are not so fitness conscious and maybe a tiny bit lazier? What about people like me who maybe sit at home working in my pajamas?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who like to be cozy at home, and well, basically, people want pajamas. Digital Economy Index that tracks more than 100 million product varieties online saw a spike in pajama sales in April for 143%. And this is not just it. The e-commerce rose 49%. Electronics rose 58%. Book sales even doubled. So people are liking to stay at home, be comfortable, read a book, have a drink, and wait over for the quarantine to end.
Oh, that does sound like my idea of fun, definitely. I think, fitness is all well and good, but actually being cozy at home and enjoying this time with family is the most important thing. But no, thank you so much, Ainars. That's been really, really interesting, and lots going on obviously this week. And like you said, it's been exciting with the Bitcoin halving party, and we'll see what happens to the Bitcoin in the second half of this year. But thank you very much for your time today.
It was a pleasure, Simona. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in this week. Ainars is making some really important predictions at the moment, so make sure you tune in next week to find out which ones he gets right.